Got the music going. But listen, let me turn this music down. Yes. Listen, I am appalled. I am appalled at the statements made by juror 37. Now, I mean, I caught most of the interview, saw it on YouTube, but the bits and pieces that are highlighted, you know, I mean, she showed some emotion, but you know, in the end, I think it was Rachel Gentile. You know, they asked her what she thought as she looked over at the jurors, and her first, one of the things she said was, "They too old." Like, you know, on the news before, you know, before they started, you know, coming out with all the how should I word it? All the descriptions and the backgrounds of the jurors, you know, in depth. You know, they gave you a little bits and clips of their background. You know, this is before they came out with the verdict. But, you know, Rachel Gentile said they were too old. Like, now I understand why the verdict came out that way, because to me, it seems like they're all pocketbook clutchers. Yes, I said it, pocketbook clutchers. You know what a pocketbook clutcher is? That's a white, or even it could be a Hispanic. Yes, a lot of, I mean, I hate to say it, but you know, you have a lot of racist Hispanics, especially those that are of the more Caucasian mixed Hispanic. They look Caucasian, they blend in, but they're Hispanic background, but they look Caucasian. You wouldn't know it unless you knew their name or you heard them speaking Spanish, right? Now, yeah, Rachel Gentile said they were too old. They were all pocketbook clutchers. You know, a pocketbook clutcher is that white female that when you pass them in the supermarket, just because you're a black guy, they pull their pocketbook close. Yeah. You know, the prosecution really messed up in assuming, now they profiled too. They're guilty of profiling, reverse profiling, because they just assumed that just because these women were mothers, that they were going to be sympathetic toward Trayvon's position. No. They're mothers of white kids, and they're pocketbook clutchers. But anyway, yeah, I just had to get that off my chest. Now, I mean, that's just, you know, I mean, now this is like for all my people in New York. You know, those pocketbook clutchers, those well-to-do women from the Hamptons. You know, they don't empathize. That's why this woman started talking about they, like talking about Rachel Gentile, and you know the fact that she was uneducated. Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, I mean, we all know that growing up in the hood, you know, there were those that just they just didn't get it. They didn't do well in school. They were those, maybe they had single parent households, whatever the situation is that made it hard. They just got passed through in school. Oh, okay, well, they're the ones that, you know, like Rachel Gentile, speak with their head down when in public. They speak. They don't make eye contact with the teachers or those that are of I wouldn't say Caucasian, but because they probably do it with well-educated black people too. They just feel inferior because they don't have confidence in their communication skills. And yes, they do live in a situation where it's ghetto, you know, in the true sense of the word, meaning a bordered environment where it's just those of the same socio-economic class amongst themselves. So there is a ghetto without the actual physical walls, you know, in the historical sense of ghetto, you know, in the historical German sense of the word ghetto, where they actually built walls to enclose the Jews in an environment where they were separated from society. But there's an invisible wall that separates the low economic class of Afro-Americans that, you know, there are a few that make it out. Yeah, we do actually make it out of the quote-unquote ghetto. Yes, we do actually make it out. But what I'm trying to say is this, that, you know, when you're dealing with just 6 jurors, you know, one of them was possibly Hispanic or black. We don't know exactly, but I just think that the prosecution messed up in putting their faith in this, and they didn't bring a strong case because they figured, well, we're going to go with sympathy. They should have went with the law. Man, I'm telling you, they should have used the race. Yes, it was racially motivated, and yes, there is a racial factor in this, because the jurors sympathize with George Zimmerman, because they figure, and they must have put themselves in a situation. If I was in an altercation with a black male, yes, I would fear for my life. Point blank. And I'm sure, nobody says it, but I'm sure that George Zimmerman must have assumed that just because Trayvon was a young black kid, that he probably had a weapon on him. So you know what? Let me use mine first. I'm gonna pop mine off before he can reach out and pop his off, or pull out his blade, his knife, or whatever he got on him to use on me. It didn't matter if he was fighting. Now, if he knew that Trayvon didn't have a weapon on him, if he knew for sure that Trayvon didn't have a weapon on him, I'm sure he would have just went hand for hand, blow for blow. But he probably thought that, oh man, this guy's got the upper hand on me, maybe, and you know what? He might have a weapon on me, so you know what? Before he can get mine, or before he can reach for his, let me just pull mine out and just go for mine, because I'm not gonna die here. And that's what he did. It's like the rat cornered in the cage. Both of them were rats in the cage. Trayvon is thinking, this is a creepy old white dude that's stalking me. Let me get mine off. I'm defending myself. George Zimmerman figured this is a young black kid, probably carrying a weapon. He's got fighting skills. Let me get mine off. He just got his off first. Let me sign off, man, because listen, I could go all day with this, but you know what? We just gotta pray for them, because you know what? In the end, you know, I'm expressing all of this, but in the end, like I said in my other video, in the end, God's got the last say. And then, as quiet as it's kept, we can all deny it if we want to, but you know what? God can still forgive George Zimmerman. George Zimmerman still has a chance. You know why? Because Paul was a murderer. Paul killed Christians who were unarmed, preaching the gospel. Lord bless the families of Trayvon. Lord bless the families of George Zimmerman, because in the end, we all got to answer to God. And all can be forgiven. We all have a shot. We got one shot in this life. Yes, and we can be forgiven. I'm signing off. Peace.